Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the first episode of the brand new Junior All-Star Championship Series. My name is Eric, and I will be the host as we do a deep dive with the four 2021 Minnesota State champions. Tonight, we're going to start with Class 2A 2021 champion, the Albany Huskies. Thank you guys for joining me. If we can start, can I have each one of the coaches introduce themselves, starting with the head coach, and then we will move on to players.
My name is Aaron Boyum. I am the head coach of the Albany girls basketball team.
Todd Kuhn, I'm the JV coach.
Kelly Clausen, ninth grade coach.
Thank you, coaches. And then we'll start with the players. We'll start with the seniors and then work our way down. If you want to start with Paige, we'll go from there.
I'm Paige Meyer. I'm a senior.
Any other seniors want to jump in?
I'm Sydney Fredericks. I'm a senior.
Thank you.
I'm Lily Owen, I'm a senior.
I'm Faith Borgerding, and I'm a senior.
And then we'll just go from there. How about you, Maddie? We'll start with you.
I'm Maddie Herkenoff, and I'm a junior.
And then Marissa.
I'm Marissa Voigt. I'm a junior.
Jordan.
I'm Jordan Carlson, and I'm a junior.
Then I think I have Peyton.
I'm a junior.
We had Faith. And then my screen's a little messed up. If I missed you, just go ahead and holler your name out for me right now. We get everybody? Oh, okay. If we didn't, trust me, we'll find time. We're going to get you out there. We'll get your name and face out there. We want people to know who you are when you're talking. So we will start with the coaches. Your season, you went 24-1 and ended with the championship. So not a bad season to kind of finish out 2021. I guess my question to the coaches would to start out with, when you first found out you're having a season, and that was kind of the first hurdle to get past is having a season. How did you kind of go about preparing the team for, it was going to be rocky. There's going to be games where they could be canceled. You didn't, games could be scheduled and they could be canceled the very next day or the morning of. Kind of what was your guys' mentality going into that for this year?
I mean, I think thankfully none of those things happened to us, right? So, but I think at the end of the day, I think everybody just had to realize and understand that it was a real possibility. And I think the group just did a nice job of, understanding that and accepting and really knowing that was a possibility all along. And so whether it was wearing masks or having practice in different spots or at different times, I think, once we knew that we were able to have a season, and I don't want to speak for the girls because they'll be able to speak for themselves, but I feel like we had a group that was just happy and excited to be able to play. And so all those other things, they just kind of accepted and adapted as long as they got a chance to play.
That's what I like to hear. And kind of going off the mask, reaching out to the players, did it take a little while getting used to playing with the mask? I guess at some point, did you just not even realize it was there? Or was it kind of the whole year it was noticeable, but hey, we're playing, I'm willing to wear whatever they need me to wear out here so I can play?
Yeah, I think at first it was kind of tough, but then, yeah, we were just all excited to play. So I think we kind of just got used to it. I mean, you could tell it was there, but I think we're all just happy we could play.
What I like to hear. And then, kind of to jump a little forward to the state tournament, it's all right. I mean, it's kind of a difficulty getting used to that size of a court to begin with. And then you're adding mask. Did anyone notice, for the players, was it noticeably, hey, it's a lot more strenuous being on a NBA size court, the length, the width, or was it just by that time we're in game shape, let's roll? We'll start with Maddie on this one.
I think it was helpful that we had a lot of subs and a lot of
well, everybody could play and everybody could fill the positions very well. And I feel like that helped us out a lot throughout the season and especially getting into the state tournament because the court was longer and we were also wearing masks, which also didn't really help. But I mean, yeah.
And then we'll get to the state tournament. So my question, this would go for coaches and players. I don't know if you guys were talked about enough as you should have been. You guys were at times the second overall ranked team in Class 2A. I mean, I think a lot of people looked at, Duluth Marshall with Gianna Neepkins. You had Providence with Madden Greenway and the Count sisters. And I feel like Albany kind of was the team that wasn't talked about enough. And did you guys go in with that chip on your shoulder, or was it just, we're going to come out here and show them what we can do? We'll kick off with Paige.
I don't think, I guess during the season, we didn't really think too much about the rankings. We kind of just went out there and did our thing, but I guess maybe it could have put a little chip on our shoulder, but I guess we didn't worry about that aspect too much.
And then I'll ask you, Coach. So in the semifinal and final, Paige flirted with the triple double. So my question is going to be to you first and then to Paige. Do you know when she's close to a triple double? Are you aware of the stats? And then Paige, are you aware on the court when you're closer? Is it just I'm playing and afterwards I'll see where the stats land where they may?
I can't say that we keep track exactly of who is at a double double or a triple double as the game is going on. What I will say is those type of stats are very routine for us to see from Paige, during the course of the year. So a lot of people saw that, at the state tournament, and it's really something that we, as crazy as it is to say, kind of grew accustomed to seeing, just because Paige contributes to our team in so many different ways.
Yeah, I'd say when I'm playing, that doesn't really come to me. I don't really think a whole lot about it. I just kind of go out there and play.
Sounds good. And then this will go to more of the players kind of in this year. Was there a, I guess, game or a moment from the players aspect that you knew, hey, we're special? Like we can do something with this group and there's something working here where you just kind of felt it was clicking? Or that maybe was it in preseason practice? Was it when the games had already started? Kind of when was that moment for the player that you could feel it on the court? We'll kick off with Marissa.
I'd have to say when we played Sauk Center the first time, we just came out really strong and it was like, yeah, we got this, we can do it compared to the years before. So.
And Jordan, what would you think for in terms of the season?
I would have to agree with Marissa. The moment after we won that game, it was just like, oh my gosh, we can do this, because we knew that Sauk Center was ranked up there with us too.
And coaches, did you guys have a moment? I mean, was yours preseason practice or was there a game with Sauk Center maybe for you guys where you're like, okay, where you kind of looked at each other and you're like, we're kind of rolling here. We have something here that we know we can kind of run with and do some damage with?
I would say that, not to pick like a game, but, after we did lose to New London, from a coach's perspective, you could just see literally every week there was just some sort of growth. There was somebody accepting their role a little more. There was just this special thing that was happening where every week, every game, I don't know if it was the building of confidence, and things just started to roll. And as we got into playoffs, things just kept rolling. And, I think the quarterfinal game kind of showed too that we weren't just a team that scores points too. When you give up 12 points in a state tournament game, I mean, it goes to show that there's a buy-in on all levels.
And then in terms of that, Coach, what I want to go off of that. With the loss to New London, do you feel, or you have the mentality of the coach that loss kind of, it re-wakes the team up or kind of re-gets their attention? I've heard some coaches say like when a team's kind of undefeated and going, they have more of the pressure, like that kind of builds as you go. Is it sometimes, not necessarily that you want a loss, but sometimes good to kind of, it refocuses like, hey, this is where we have to go to, kind of re-gets the attention, like this is where the small details kind of come in for you, for your team?
I mean, I don't know that I would phrase it exactly that way, but I do think that maybe what the game with New London showed us was it maybe gave us something else to shoot for. Maybe gave us a chance to just kind of refocus and kind of reanalyze where we were at and what we needed to do as a basketball team, both as a group and individually to be successful. And Coach Kuhn kind of talked about that, and you know, falling into roles and not necessarily accepting a role, but finding value in the role that you had for the team. And I think that we had a number of girls that were able to understand it and find value find value in kind of what they brought to the Albany Huskies girls basketball team this year. At least I hope they did, because they played really well together when they were on the floor.
And then Paige, we'll start with you on this one, and then maybe the coaches, and we'll have a few more players. In terms of the journey of this year, what would you describe as makes this team special? Like, obviously winning a state title is special, but what are you going to remember kind of the most about this group, the 2021 Albany Huskies?
I would say I think we just like clicked really well together on the court, obviously, and then off the court too. Like we all got along really well, which really helps when you're playing together. So yeah, I think that really was a big thing.
Coaches, anything you want to add in terms of that? We'll go with Kelly. Kelly, we haven't heard from you yet. Anything you want to add kind of about the season, the journey of that you guys went through?
Yeah, absolutely. Being new to the program, one thing that just really stands out to me with this group is, you know, you're together for a long season with girls. And these girls, through anything, whether it was on the court, off the court, it's exactly what Paige said. They clicked. They get along. They really are all strong leaders. And it's such a fun group to be able to work with when you can have that type of, I guess, friendship on and off the court. And you always, they put basketball first, but yet they knew that we need to be a team and work together.
Maddie, would you have anything to add to that?
I agree with both Paige and Kelly, because I feel like this year is kind of special, not only because we won the state tournament, but also because through 9th grade through 12th grade, everybody clicked, and it didn't really feel like we were all in different grades. We all kind of felt like we were one with each other, and it was really fun.
That's usually what, I mean, you've heard that sometimes in teams where they're like, you don't, you know, the grades are mixing, it's all one team. It's not this group separated from this group. And that's when you kind of know you have that special kind of group that everyone's mixing together. And you guys could see it on the court. You know, speaking from someone who watched your guys' games, you could see the connection. There was that, I mean, I describe it as when you're making the passes and you're not always having to look where they are, but you know they're there. You know there's a connection there. You trust, you have that trust in each other, and that takes you farther than a team that doesn't have that trust, in my view. And so we'll go, you know, kind of going on the season here. Was there, I guess, would you say, and is there something about, I guess, going forward that you feel that this, you know, the senior group, we'll talk about a little bit, that they've kind of put their mark? What would you say their mark has been left on this program kind of overall? Like, have they set the standard going forward type situation? And we'll start with the coaches, kind of how they feel that the senior group has left their mark.
I guess I would start with the connectedness that everybody's really talked about, because I really think the seniors set the tone for that year in and year out. And so our seniors really set the bar pretty high this year for the juniors and sophomores and freshmen in future years when they kind of take on that role. So I guess I would start there as far as really doing a good job being able to bring people
And if any seniors would like to add kind of your kind of perspective from, you know, the players' perspective side? If not, don't feel pressure. We can leave it on that part. So now it's a little bit more kind of fun questions for the players. We had some fans submit questions, so I'll call out the players' names, and this is what people have sent in. For each player, if they're an NBA, WNBA, or college player you emulate your game off of, or kind of hope or watch and kind of say that's where I'm modeling my game after. We will start with Marissa.
Boy, well, I probably have to say Paige Beckers just because I watched her in high school a little bit, and seeing her in the tournament this year, it was kind of cool to watch and see how she connected from high school team to a college team, and it's just a whole nother level.
And Alyssa?
I'd probably say Maya Moore because I've always watched her and learned from her as she was a point guard. So it's just been cool to watch her grow in the WNBA.
Samantha?
I'm gonna say Maya Moore too, because I've always went to like Lynx games and stuff when I was younger, and I always looked up to her.
How about Lilith?
I really like watching Lisa Collier play, even when she was in college. I've been watching a while.
Jordan?
This isn't necessarily who I like model my game after, but my favorite WNBA player is Sue Bird.
The point guard. How about you, Maddie?
I kind of like Sylvia Fowles just because of how strong her game is. And it's somebody that I can relate to a little bit in the same kind of position. And like it's kind of cool to look up to her and just see what she can do and hope that I can do the same.
Paige, got anyone?
I would probably say Maya Moore too, just because I went to quite a few Lynx games when I was younger. So yeah, I'd have to say her.
Quick question for you guys. I know I'm a season ticket holder for the Minnesota Lynx. Have you guys gotten an invite to this year? I know they sometimes bring state tournament champions like on the court to honor them. Have you guys gotten an invite like that? If not, we got to get on that.
No.
Lynx. We got to
No.
get on
If
that.
you could talk to Coach Reeves, that'd be great, but we have not received that as of yet.
I'm saying, because I said a season ticket holder, we always see the state champs. Like we got 4 state champs that got to get on that court. We can make it work. We'll find a way to get there. Coaches, I want to ask you guys the same thing. Is there, when you're not coaching, is there a WNBA, NBA college team player that you guys kind of enjoy watching?
I mean, as far as a player, Maya Moore has come up a couple times, and that is a player that I've, really enjoyed watching and just thought was really fluid and does a lot of things well. So I would say that. I have other like coaching, people that I would look up to, and I tend to read a lot of coaching books just because I'm well beyond my playing days now. But yeah, Maya Moore would be a player.
As a coach too, I don't necessarily watch one player, but I do definitely remember watching Lindsay Whalen both as a Gopher and as a player. And then from a coaching perspective, just watching, I have 3 daughters myself, and watching a lot of college basketball now, and just picking up different things here and there from different coaches across the country is pretty cool.
Yeah, and as they were saying names, a lot of those names are obviously players, yes, that I love to watch, but it made me think back just being younger and who you do look up to. And I still will say this, coaches are going to laugh, but Lindsay Whalen, I know she's a coach, but I still love watching her in the game of basketball, and I loved watching her growing up.
And so the other one will go to the players. Do you have a dream teammate? Someone that in Minnesota you hadn't played in AAU, high school, all-star games, like a teammate, either past or present player that you wish you had like an opportunity, that if you could have like one opportunity to play with that player, this is who it would be. We'll start with Paige.
I would probably have to say Paige Beckers, just because, yeah, she's such an elite player and she does so many things well. So I think that would have been a cool thing.
Maddie?
I'd probably also have to say Paige Beckers, just because from watching her in a gym at the AAU tournament, it's kind of cool just to see her style of play and how passionate she is for the game.
Lilith?
I would say Paige Beckers too. Otherwise, Sarah Scalia from Stillwater. I really liked watching her play in high school too.
Marissa?
I like watching Amaya battle play. She's an absolute beast on the court, so pretty fun.
Peyton?
I would also have to say Paige Beckers just because she's such a passionate player, like Maddie said. And I just think she's an all around good athlete.
Samantha?
I'm gonna have to say Paige Beckers too.
And then I hope I'm gonna pronounce this right. Is it Kylan? Kaylin? I do apologize.
Kylan, and yeah, I would have to say Paige Beckers too because she just looks so fun to play with because it looks like she makes everyone better.
And Jordan?
Yeah, when I was younger, I really liked watching Mimi Schrader from Wayzata, and I just feel like it would be cool to play a game with her.
And then did I miss one? My screen's a little off. Did I miss one at this time? If I missed you, feel free to shout it out now. This is your moment. Okay. And then coaches, we're gonna flip it on you. Is there a dream player that you would have liked to coach that you never had a chance? If you could pick one player, past or present, Minnesota basketball, that you could have an opportunity to coach, who would it be? We will start with the head.
I'll still say Lindsay Whelan.
I have Coach Clausen and I have the unique perspective of being Albany alumni as well. So I'm going to go Kelly Skalicki, one of the greats of the early 80s here, brought home a state title as well. So that would have been interesting.
Yeah, this is going to date me probably, but like Rebecca Lobo, I don't even know if girls back when WNBA was, first really getting going, was a post player that was really good. My favorite player of all time is a guy, and that would be Bobby Jackson. So, but girl side, Rebecca Lobo.
If the players don't know who that is, if ESPN, she's usually the main host, or she's somewhere in there picking on her other host and giving them jabs. So she's one to watch. And so now it's towards the end here, but I want to give the coaches and the players each an opportunity. What is something that when people look back on the 2021 Albany Huskies, you hope that they say about this team or think about this team that you want thought about this team that from this year? We'll start with the coaches and then we'll go to the players.
I think for me, and I've told the players this before, one of the biggest compliments that you can get as a coach is when somebody tells you that your girls are really fun to watch play, because usually that means that they play with a lot of heart, they play with a lot of hustle, they play with a lot of energy, and they usually it means that they are pretty good at playing together. So I think that's what something that I hope that everybody remembers about this team.
Coach Todd?
I don't know if you can encapsulate it in one word. Obviously we've had a lot of conversations here locally with people. Just special. It's a special group of girls. It was a special season. I think if I had to pick one word, I would just say I hope everybody remembers that this was a special team.
Coach Kelly?
And I would have to say, yeah, along the words of special, just a group that has really big hearts on and off the court. It's always fun when people would be like, oh, what a fun season, teachers especially. But yeah, it's just such a fun group. And there wasn't anybody who'd ever disagree on who these girls are and how big their hearts are.
Maddie?
I think that our unselfishness should be looked back upon just because of how, I want to say, kind and like easygoing everybody was.
Marissa?
That we were all kind of our own little mini family, and that we all looked out for each other, whether you played or not, you were a part of everything.
Peyton?
I would say the connection between all of the girls on and off the court, and just that, like Kelly said, we have big hearts, and I just want people to look back on that.
Jordan?
I hope that people look back on us and sorry, see how much heart we play with and how much fun we have out there.
And Paige?
Yeah, like the coaches said, this was a really special group. I just want like people to like see like all the hard work that we put in and like how it all paid off in the end.
Awesome. Coach, I got one more question for you. I'm going to put you on the spotlight a little bit. So Class 2A in Minnesota girls basketball, as long as I've watched it, they've had some of the most historic scorers and historic top players we've had. I'm going to look at Rebecca Dolman, Carly Wagner, that group. Where would you put Paige Meyer in that group?
We wouldn't trade Paige for anybody, and we've been very public about that. And I think that, you know, the scoring that Paige does is tremendous. But the number of other statistical categories that she contributes really separate her, as well as intangible. And I get that that's probably cliche, and I'm sure that a lot of coaches talk about the intangibles, but they really are there. So I'm not going to get into, you know, a ranking and say first, second, third, but we wouldn't trade Paige for anybody.
We will leave it on that. I want to take the time and say thank you to all the players and the coaches for taking time out of your days, time out of your life to do this video. You are the first for Junior All-Star Championship Series. I can't say I appreciate it enough. I said it should be up hopefully by the end of the weekend. And if you guys have anything you'd like to say before we wrap up the first episode, the floor is yours. We'll end right there. Thank you guys so much. You guys have such a great night. And Junior All-Star, if you're looking to get it, if you want to find out them, it's at Paige Myers, at Paige Myers. I will tag all the players, at that Albany Girls Huskies, at Girls Huskies. I will get that correct one of these days. I'm going to tag all the players, all the teams, and this will be posted. With that, thank you so much once again for your time tonight.
Thank you, Eric.
Have a good night.